And for what this can look like on a human level, meet Larry Thompson. In 2010, he was arrested in Florida for driving with a revoked license, which was a felony charge because he'd had multiple driving violations before. Larry was sent to jail, where he applied for a public defender, which in Florida, incredibly, requires a $50 application fee. He couldn't afford to pay that or his bail, so he was stuck in jail for 59 days, at which point he gave up and pled no contest to get out and was released on time served. But in Florida, if you use a public defender and are found guilty, even by plea, you then owe attorney's fees and costs regardless of your ability to pay. So Larry now owed not just the $50 public defender application fee, but also an extra $100 fee for having used the public defender, and even another fee of $100 to pay the prosecution's costs, which is like a bully taking your lunch money and then charging you an additional lunch money reallocation fee. But they still weren't done. On top of those and other fees for the crime he pled no contest to, the court then added partial payment fees each month for the next several months, bringing Larry's tab to $675. And that all brings us to about a month ago, when Larry was actually arrested for contempt of court as a result of not paying those fees. An arrest, incidentally, for which they charged him a $210 administrative fee. At this point, they may as well have just slapped on an irony fee for good measure, because it turns out having no money in Florida can be really fucking expensive.
That was John Oliver talking about a judiciary and public defender system that is in shambles. The right to a lawyer is a pillar in the American judiciary system. Although this right is so well known, it has only been around since the 1963 court case, Gideon versus Wainwright. The problem with the system is that it is extremely overburdened. According to the Brennan Center for Justice, anywhere from 60 to 90% of criminal defendants need publicly defended attorneys. For example, some defenders in Fresno handle almost 1,000 cases a year. That's almost 3 a day. With heavy caseloads, public defenders do not have enough time to properly evaluate and defend their case. Because of the vast amount of cases, a system falls into place called meet and plead. People admit to crimes they did not commit because public defenders urge them to take plea deals. This is why 90 to 95% of cases end in guilty pleas. Not only are people urged to take guilty pleas, but also the attorney isn't always free as stated in the Miranda rights. In 4 states, a person can qualify for food stamps, but not be poor enough to have a free attorney. Also in 43 states, a person can be billed for a public defender. The solution to fix the public defender system is quite simple. States need to adequately fund their public defender programs. States need to stop relying on contract attorneys. There are a combination of ways to chip away at the problem of inadequate representation. First, decriminalizing some offenses or making some felonies would ease the caseload of public defenders. For example, decriminalizing marijuana offenses, such as what Washington and Colorado did, or making felonies as MIPs a civil infraction for first offenses, would help clear the load of cases that public defenders take. The second part to help clear up public defenders' caseloads would be a greater amount of pro bono work from practicing attorneys. I spoke to an attorney at Miller Canfield that stated that there is no incentive to do pro bono work, rather that you get satisfaction from helping others. I'm urging that a state or the country could give tax write-offs as incentives to attorneys. Instead of using money to make charitable donations, a system could be set up so lawyers could write off their cases as a donation. The final solution to help defendants that use public defenders is for a federal or state law to be passed that mandates all states to have truly free public defenders. I feel that this issue could warrant a lot of public interest. If the issue is made clear to the public, enough signatures could be obtained to make a change. Groups could also lobby members in either the state and U.S. Congress. The first theme of Catholic social teaching is about the dignity of every person and human rights. The theme states that every single person has human rights that they are born with. In the United States, the right to a free attorney is not protected. If a person does not have enough money for a lawyer, they should not automatically be found guilty. This theme shows that the current public defender system does not defend the dignity and rights of every person. The major principle my plan helps cover is option for the poor and vulnerable. Most of the people that get affected by the current judicial system are poor. This is because they cannot afford an attorney. The public defender is typically not capable of successfully defending their client. Simply, the poor are vulnerable in this current system. The poor are being punished because they are poor, and they did not get fair legal representation. The new system I am proposing would clear up time and resources for public defenders. This would allow for the poor to be represented equally in court. My proposal for public defenders also follows the fourth principal theme of Catholic social teaching, subsidiarity and the proper role of government. The government would be assisting the poor in the United States instead of imprisoning them. The plan would allow for public defenders to properly assist their clients and defend them. Supporting the proposal for public defenders would be supporting solidarity, common good, and participation. The poor should be able to count on the government and judiciary system. The new plan for public defenders allows for public defenders to build relationships with their clients. In turn, common good is affected because people will learn that there is more behind their own life and a numerous amount of other goals. The participation of other attorneys will also be affected because more will have the opportunity to work pro bono and help others.